Morning, Bangkok. We're here at Setsat University, or outside the Setsat University. Of course, being the agriculture university, someone's got the cocks up in the morning at 3 or 4 a.m. And of course, no one can say anything about it because it is the agriculture university. Yeah, so roosters galore, and I'll wake you up if you leave your window open in the community next to the university there. Anyway, we're here on our little balcony at this little apartment slash condo. You can see I got a solar panel there. Cloud coverage doesn't get much generation here, and on a good day, most days nowadays, especially the coming 4 months here, as we approach the Thai summer, you get about probably say 4 or 5 hours of sunlight. Three hours of good direct sunlight. So that's enough to keep this topped up. I've got a little battery bank in there, in that little yellow black box that I've hooked up to deep cycle batteries. They're only 40 amp hours, so we're looking at about 500, 12 volts, 500 watt hours of energy per battery, so that's times 2. So about a kilowatt hour of energy I've got stored there, and it's topped up. I can't use it regularly in order with the sunlight that I get, so I can't make it a very dependent always using type battery unless my energy usage is really super small. That's only a 40 watt panel, so even on a good day I'd get maybe 100 watt hours of energy that I can collect, and then any energy losses, so probably less than 100 watt hours of energy per day that I can restore this. But that's enough. It should be enough anyway for what I'm using it for right now. As you can see, I am boiling some eggs with this machine here, and this is a little handy device. It's a 300 watt device, but I'm measuring it. As you can see, it's taking about 270, 272, and this is to boil the eggs. And so I've got it hooked up to the little inverter there, and basically that little cylinder there, it measures the water that I put into this before I start this, and also has a little needle at the end of it, a point tip that I poke a hole in the bottom of the eggs for them to cook better. And so it takes about, I measured it yesterday, about 15 minutes to finish the boil for 3 eggs. And looking at my measurements there, for the last 2 days it's taken between 60 to 70 watt hours of energy, or on that measurement it would be 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 kilowatt hours of energy. So we're looking, even though it's a 300 watt hour device, theoretically 300 watts takes 15 minutes, so a quarter of that theoretically should be 75 watt hours, right? So I've measured about 65 to 70, which is consistent with how much energy it's actually using. It's only using about 271. It might peak sometimes when I turn it on at 400 or 500 watt hours, but as long as you've got a nice inverter that can handle the surge. This particular one can handle a 2,000 watt surge, so it says, so no problem. Like I said, the main issue is the amount of sun I can collect to recharge it. And the batteries aren't the best either. I can only, theoretically, to keep them optimal, you're only supposed to discharge your battery bank or your power bank about 20%. 10% is ideal, even 10 to 20%. So you're looking at the kilowatt hour. I'm only really supposed to take, between charges to discharge, 100 watt hours, 200 watt hours between charges. And so with this thing I'm only taking 60, 70 watts, so I'm within that range. I'm within that 10% range. I've tried boiling before. It didn't really work all the way because this water boiler is a 500 watt water boiler, so I need to find a smaller way of boiling water. I'm going to use it through electricity, because 500 watt hour, it peaks, it surges at a kilowatt, 1,000 watts, and that's the smallest one I could find. So my battery bank couldn't keep up with that, because even after it would work for about 10-15 minutes, and then that's about how long it takes to boil the water. So it actually would work about 5 minutes, and then it would just the inverter would kick off, and the safety would shut off because it was too much power draining for the battery to make it work. So yeah, so even after 20-30% of draining the battery, the battery will just shut off. So you need a bigger battery bank if you're going to be boiling water with one of these 500 watt units. That's actually a small um, amount of power compared to most of the other water boilers you find on the market are like 600 watts minimum, 1,000 kilowatts, most of the appliances. So when you use any kind of setup like this, off the grid or hybrid unit where you rely on solar power, you become a lot more conscious about your appliances and how much energy they take. So you'll see me a lot at the appliance section or the supermarket or wherever, or, you know, the department store, looking at different appliances, electrical appliances, and I'll be looking at the actual kilowatt hours, how much they surge, how much energy, estimating how much energy they'll take to do something. So, for example, to boil and cook, hard boil 3 eggs, it takes me 60 to 70 watt hours of energy, which is very reasonable for food, because like I said, for water, to boil water, it's going to take 250 to 300 watt hours, assuming your battery can take the rate of discharge, which my battery bank of a kilowatt hour can't. So if you have about 2 kilowatt hours, that would be enough. So if I had four of these 12 volt batteries, or 2 big ones, it should be sufficient to boil water in something like this. But in the meantime, I might look at some DC water boilers that I've seen on the market that are only like they're only rated at 100 watts and they take a half an hour to boil the water. So that would technically be 50 watt hours, about the same amount of energy. See, I'm getting boiled water from this. So on a smaller unit, it's possible to use less than 100 watt hours of energy to boil water. It's just one of these bigger things. They're made to boil quick, you know, boil water within 10 to 15 minutes. And so, yeah, that's my update here. And next 5 minutes or so, these should be done, and then it'll give me an alarm, and that'll be that. So, hope you learned anything, and that'll be enough for now. Thanks for watching.